Seems like it's got some short. It's got like a short story kind of approach, where the story kind of keeps changing every time you play it, and it only takes like, I think it took me an hour, maybe an hour and a half to play through. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Before we continue, let me just see my chat so that I can... Alright, continue.
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Lapino was no game changer, but could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
So, how do I want to approach this? Do I want to try choosing something different to move forward? Or do I want to choose the same thing here and then make different changes, different choices than initially I made? Here, I basically followed him till the end. So I feel like what I should do is I should choose to go save him again. But on his following... On the following decision, go against him. That's what I feel like. This would be nice too. This seems kind of important. They all seem important. 1, 2, or 3. Door 1 or 2 or 3.
Lapino.
Lapino.
Apparently, the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble, given time. But he was out of time. The Ravens had figured out that Lapino was a rebel spy. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse. Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens?
Oh no.
Those sheaves were really very well made, weren't they?
Not what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
People were frightened these days. Just 2 weeks past, Renato had sneaked through an empty town and listened to the Ravens caw about the Emperor's new taste in ritual sacrifice.
See this last time.
The village looked so peaceful. Were the villagers hiding somewhere? Of course not. No matter how much he searched, he would only find ravens here.
Bernardo checked to make sure his sword was still working. Yep.
Just didn't want to chop. That was ridiculous.
I'll just have a dash, thought Renato.
Hey, Renardo.
These things really slice like ham.
Huh. Whoa, what's that? Crescents. One.
Hey! Hey! I'm a firefox, thought Renato.
Good for you. Jump down. Away.
Ravens were landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Where had the mad rabbit got to? Sharp? Check. Pointy? Check. Flexible? Check. What else do you need in a sword?
I alter for faster speed. Maximum stamina. What does stamina even do? Shield and wielding enemy will rip away the shield, leaving him. Oh, I like that. Target an enemy with dash to move through him and cause damage does not work on shield wielding enemies. Attack enemies at any distance auto activates when reaching a certain combo threshold. Slow down time after a successful attack. Until your next action, tactical mode of combat like a true master. Kill your enemies on your sword when you grab him to cause damage. More health would definitely be nice. So would be able to take those You know, let's
Cool.
do that. That's
Wish
gonna
I
save me
could
a
do
lot
that.
of some good old stuff. Long sword. Health. What's up, Fry?
Didn't smell any better dead, Renato thought.
Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, we see this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia.
We capture Zenobia.
Deja vu.
We find out what she knows.
So I couldn't
And that's
decide if
the
I
whole
wanted to
war right
make
there.
the other choices
Easy peasy, lemon
and
squeezy.
then move forward,
Capture
or
the
to try
Emperor's
this
greatest
choice
general, who happened to also be a deadly sorcerer,
and make different choices along the way.
His only daughter?
So that's what.
That would be worth it. And it would be nice to see her. He'd always had a soft spot for her. And he felt sure she had one for him. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
Instead of going and getting her this time, I'm going to do this one,
To make the Sky Ripper,
which
the
makes me
transcendent
think
emperor
that
had
the
wrapped
first
an
choice
armature
was
around the eye of a god. Bernardo had already
unnecessary.
let that armature slip away to save Lapino's life. But even its core, the eye torn from a god, surely they could fashion a great weapon from that. The core of the Sky Ripper? Lapino's excited. That's an actual thing that we could just go and get. You've been busy. He sure had. Renato told him all the things he'd been up to. Soon they got to talking about old times, about wages they'd won and lost, and scrapes they'd barely got out of. It was good to be back with his friend. Renato grinned. He had a very good feeling about this.
Oh.
It's beautiful here, thought Renato. He was thrilled to be back with his old war buddy. He'd missed the mad rabbit, but something was not quite right.
So,
Sorry,
at
must
least
dash,
he came
thought
along with
Renato.
us this time. Gonna be going on his crazy plan.
Zenobia. Now that he knew she still loved him, he wanted to go back to her. But that hadn't worked out, had it? Maybe it was time to find the core of the Sky Ripper.
Yep. Coming down.
There was something sour in the air. like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
Once, Bernardo had opened a chest, and a jack-in-the-box jumped out. Jack-in-the-boxes, they gave them the Wiggins. Don't be shy.
Went smooth.
Bernardo felt
prior.
wrong all over. He could feel an almost palpable sickness in the air. And if the land could have tumors, they would look like these monstrous crystals. The forest was quieter than it had been. There were
What's up, Art of Zod? How you
a few
doing?
birds, if you didn't count the ravens. Bernardo smelled sick animals and dying ones. No healthy ones. And getting a bad feeling about this.
Oh, that's not what I
Bernardo
wanted.
thought.
Can I do
Maybe
that back?
Lapina was right. Maybe I should have kidnapped Zenobia instead of coming here.
Very good. How goes the art and the streams?
Oh, you got such delicious looking eyeballs.
Caught the lead, Raven.
Thank you, I think, said Renato. It never hurt to be polite.
Was one of the cholo homes to deal with on my last one. Oh, that's never fun.
Can I borrow that?
I've not had any issues with that.
As he held the radiant icosahedron, Renato felt queasy, like dozens of tiny worms were nibbling his insides.
It wasn't healthy to be so close to the eye of a god. How could he use it? He could take it to the observatory. The scientists there could tell him how to harness its ancient power. But honestly, Renato ached to get away from it.
He brought the core back with him to the Farfarer. But honestly, Bernardo ached to be rid of it.
Tell you what, said Lapino.
Yeah,
I'll take it to the
I guess that
observatory.
could draw in
You attacked the Imperial outpost.
different crowds.
The Imperial outpost was a vital communications node. Taking it could shatter the Empire's ability to coordinate. And it would be full of secret plans and maps and maybe even rebel prisoners. It was a good target for a hero like Renato. But what if Lapino got the core and then broke it or lost it? Or worse?
Was Renato ready to take that risk? Maybe it was better if he brought the core to the scientists himself.
Trust Lapino? Do we ever trust Lapino? Not on this one. Lapino has trust.
Lapino was a touchy rabbit. Renato knew that. You're brave, I know, Renato said. But this is what I was hired to do.
At least let me run ahead and warn the scientists you're coming.
So, Lapino was intent on being a hero, just like him. War made sensible men crazy for glory, and Lapino had never been sensible. But what was the harm? Lapino might well trip over a hornet's nest of ravens, but that was better than ravens lying in ambush, wasn't it?
They finished the trip to the Nexus in silence. Renato had no sooner rescued his friend than he was putting him back in danger. All right, he finally said as they landed.
Oh.
Go.
Go. Go ahead.